A Defender from E.C.D is one of the coolest fucking trucks in the world. I got invited to E.C.D, East Coast Defender, E.C.D Automotive. They make the most badass Land Rover Defenders in the world. And today we're going to tour their factory and drive a couple Defenders. E.C.D is not restoring Defenders. They are building essentially brand new cars. And they're not just building an assembly line of brand new cars. They're building an assembly line of brand new one-off cars, each one being completely different from the last. Every single Defender that comes off the showroom here is a completely unique piece tailored to that specific person that ordered it. The options are nearly limitless with these. You can get it with or without these. You can get it with or without the roll cage. This particular one doesn't have a wide body on it. I'll show you guys the wide body one in a moment. The engines options are you can get three different Corvette engines, two naturally aspirated, one for the Z06, and you can get a Cummins 4BT. This one is Chevrolet LT1 V8. This is what came in the C7 Corvette, and I gotta tell you, it's plenty of power. Yeah, it's a lot heavier than a C7, but I promise you're not gonna be wanting for any more power than you are with this 450 horsepower engine. And this is one of the wide body variants. This is what it looks like with the wide body on here. That's another option. Every single one of these Defenders is completely different from the next. In the back, you have a bunch of classic Land Rover features. I mean, the ladder, I gotta tell you, the ladder is the thing that made me fall in love with Land Rover, period. When my dad brought home, I think it was Discovery 2 when I was a little kid, I saw the ladder in the Safari windows, and I was in love with them from that moment on. As far as cargo space is concerned, you've got a lot of it. More than any reasonable person would ever need, unless you're really hauling something, then at that point, get a truck. You're not getting this as a work vehicle, and you're getting it for a phenomenally cool daily driver. And as you can see, nothing's for show on these. The ladder does work. It's really sturdy, and the suspension is really sturdy as well. Everything on these is really, really high quality. As far as the interior goes, it's really nice. Nicer than a Defender has any right to be. Here we've got an Alpine sound system that does Apple CarPlay. I'm not going to peel the sticker off, but I'd like to. It does Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the whole 9 yards, and it all does it wirelessly. Right here is your sun visor. Now it's like a little plexiglass tinted deal right here. You know, I saw it at first. I was like, I don't know about that, but actually using it on the road, it's much better than a traditional one because you can see through it and it blocks the sun. You can put it here and it works. It's a great sun visor. Great idea. As far as the steering wheel goes, this particular model has this sort of wooden metal job going for it. I think it's cool, but it's not what I would option on here. Luckily, this is a customer car. It's a specific vehicle for a specific person, and everything in it is to that person's taste, right? So if you don't like the steering wheel, if you don't like the color of the clock or the gauges or the kind of gauges, if you don't like this specific dashboard, if you don't like these specific seats, this specific leather, whatever you want to have done, you can have done. That's the reason I'm such a fan of E.C.D, is because anything you want to do to your Defender, they will do it. You get your heated, cooled seats. You get a pretty traditional, looks like a Silverado, you know, shifting tunnel. You have your low and high range transfer case right here. They can be optioned. I mean, they can be optioned with literally anything you want, but it can be optioned with front and rear diff locks. Those wouldn't happen inside. Those would be manual diff locks from the outside. Up here, you have your mic, so you can take your Bluetooth phone calls. You've got a pretty nice mirror. It's got some buttons on it. I don't know what they do. And soon they're coming out with an option for a rear view camera mirror. The back seat's just as comfortable as the front. Actually, you're sitting up a little bit higher, and you have a much higher roof line back here. So I still have plenty of headroom back here. You've got your little oh shit handle. You've got these awesome Safari windows. That's a Defender classic, but I'm glad they kept them around and kept them as prominent of a design feature as they were originally in these vehicles. The detail is fantastic in here. Obviously, every, handle, everything you touch, everything you grab onto is metal or leather. Like, they really don't skimp on any features in these. As far as a Defender goes, you're not going to find anything with more features. Some more features back here, of course, include rear AC, which original Defenders absolutely didn't have. Rear window controls, wireless phone charger, wireless phone charger, wireless phone charger. You got 3, 1 for the front occupants and 2 for the rear occupants who are most likely going to be playing on their phones. So to drive, it's very, very smooth, and we got a little bit of open road up ahead of us, so we'll put our foot down. Apparently these are pretty quick. There we go. And it struggles for grip a little bit. Like that's how quick these are. I see a little smoke coming out, a little tire smoke back there, and with off-road tires it's not going to be perfectly grippy, but it is absolutely phenomenally fast for a Defender. You're never going to get into an older truck like this and just feel that, right? The original V8s were maybe 200 horsepower, 220 horsepower, and the diesels were like 100 horsepower. This is about the fastest you can get in a Defender, and it's not scary. It's reasonable. And you'd think it'd be terrifying, but it's really, really smooth, and it doesn't feel jarring, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to step out or trying to kill you. And you can go have power in an older Defender that is rebuilt from the ground up, and it shows. Despite how old of a design it is, they take it and they really perfect it. And so I'm really, really impressed with the power and the driving experience. So as far as the corners go, it tilts on the corner, but you're not buying this to take it on the racetrack or take it down a B road and go nuts with it. You're taking it so you can have essentially what is as smooth as maybe an X7 or a Q7, and easy to drive is one of those, and as comfortable to drive is one of those, without having to have such a pedestrian package, right? And so when I'm sitting here, the car tracks straight, it's perfect, the suspension is comfortable, the seats hug me in just the right way without being too sporty. I'm not a huge fan of insanely sporty racing, seats, and these, really nice leather work, really good cushioning, just the right amount of hugging you. They feel fantastic, and just the comfort level of this is far beyond, anything that a Defender has the right to do. But it is fantastic. The brakes are unassisted, so they're once you get them a little warmed up, they're very precise, and you can sort of gauge the brake feel a bit more, because you always have a little bit more with these Brembo brakes. You put your foot down on the brake and you think, oh, is that it? But then you always have more room to go. To finish off, as far as a Defender goes, this is the best you're going to get. I'm taking this over the new Defender 100 times out of 100. And as far as every old Defender I've seen, I'm going to them if I ever get one, because E.C.D does Defenders better than anyone in the world. And the Land Rover Defender, in my opinion, is one of the best SUVs that's ever been made.